morning, and I'm trying to get to some of my questions. I did have another question, and the question is, what is the hardest thing about getting out of debt and the hardest thing about staying out of debt? So that is kind of a multiple fold question. And there's kind of a couple different answers. So I'm going to give those answers. And again, I did not schedule this to go live. I'm just doing them when I have time because I want to get these answers out, and preferably before the Christmas season. So one of the hardest things about getting out of debt is people's opinions about your journey and your process. And that's because we as people have a tendency to share with people, sometimes prematurely, or we share with the wrong people. You have to remember or realize not everybody is in your corner. Not everybody wants you to win. Not everybody wants you to be at a higher place or level than they are, right? Because if we all in debt together, we running together, then nobody can say they're doing any better than anybody else. But the one who manages to make themselves debt-free or get themselves out of debt, then in other people's mind, now we are seen as we think we're better than, or we think we're something, we think we have arrived. We really don't think we have arrived. We just know that our money is working for us and we're not working hard for our money to be going other places. So that's one thing, other people. Sometimes you can't share your journey. I am a sharer. I want to share everything about my life because so many of you people have followed the journey. You've seen where God has brought me from. Why would I not share? But then in the comments, right? It's just like people in your regular life. In the comments, people are coming over here and they have their opinions, and I could see them now, the little fingers, and that's how people are. Oh, you think you better than us just because you ain't got no credit card. Yeah, everybody got credit card debt. Everybody does not have credit card debt. Good morning, everybody. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm trying to get these questions answered simply because I want to be a good steward over your time to write the questions, and then I do have potentially some answers that may be helpful for you. So chime in. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Thank you so much for liking the video and just for joining this impromptu video. There's probably going to be several of these throughout the day or throughout the week leading up to Christmas. We're glad that you're here. So, that is one of the biggest issues. People want to have an opinion about your money, and nobody has the right to have an opinion about your money. It's yours. You get to do with it. You get to allocate. You get to give it jobs and names because it's yours, right? So take back your power from people and allocate your funds where you need to. The second thing that's a hindrance of getting out of debt is lack of knowledge. The Bible says my people perish for a lack of knowledge, and all of you get understanding. Good morning, everybody. We do not understand how money works. A lot of us, 99.9% of us, have been taught we work to make money to pay bills. We're never taught that we work, we acquire money, we invest, we save for a rainy day while we're paying our bills. We've never been taught don't spend on what you can't afford, or don't buy it if you have to borrow the money to buy it from somebody else, because we're not told how credit works. Credit works like this. If you borrow $100 from me, sure, I got 100 right now. I could pull it out of my envelope and you are welcome to it. However, in order for you to borrow my 100 right now, I'm going to need 125 back in a week. We're never taught that. We're taught immediate gratification, get it now, and then if we do get a credit card, we're never taught pay it off immediately. I know you're working on trying to get your airline miles and points and all the other things that you're trying to get, or your money back from Costco. Immediately when you swipe that card, go right then and pay it off. We are not taught any of that. And so here is what I am trying to tell us. It is up to you to tell your money where to go. Our money speaks very loud to us. It's Christmas, right? Y'all, it's Christmas, and we'll go out and break our neck trying to buy Christmas stuff that our kids, especially if they're little people, are going to break, tear up, give away to somebody else, or whatever the question is. It might be it's going to leave this house one way and come back in a different condition, and we break our neck for that. Yet when they're talking about overtime during the regular year, we like, I'm not working no overtime today. But we have debt to the sum of whatever number. Now, this is not accusatory. I'm not pointing fingers because I had debt. I had to get myself out of debt. And when I started chunking debt, because it's about to be tax season. Some of us, some of y'all, some of y'all is about to get them big old tax checks, right? And what do? Do you really need another TV? Do you really need another whatever it is that you're going to buy? Because people have already gotten their list of things. Or could you potentially take a large chunk of that, dump it over into your debt and keep going? Start the snowball. Get the snowball going. Or if that's not comfortable for you, take a large chunk of that and pay 6 months worth of your rent or pay 6 months worth of something else, right? Go ahead and pay it up front in advance, because then the money's out of your hands and it's less temptation to spend it on other things. So again, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Again, it's a mindset shift. That's another thing, is that your mind is not focused on the task at hand. We think, I've got time, I've got years, it's not going to cost me as much. And it ends up costing us everything. Finances, money, and intimacy are the two things that cause more problems in marriages than anything else. If your money funny, I promise you there's going to be some intimacy issues. And when there's intimacy issues, somebody going to develop a roving eye. And then when there's a roving eye, because there is no financial obligation to where they roving at, when they looking over here at neighbor sister Susie, whoever she is, when there is no financial obligation and all they got to do is just go over there and hit it and quit it, is problems. Because where we are, there's financial strain, there's financial strife, I'll never have no money. I work hard and I can't ever spend it on anything. We've been poor stewards and now we want to blame. There's no blame. And if there's two people involved in your finances, we need to sit down and have serious conversations. I meet women all the time who tell me, my husband will not talk to me about finances. Your husband has to talk to you about finances, or you got to take the finances in charge and say, listen, this is what we're doing. Or you're going to live in that pressure cooker and it's going to keep building and building and building. And everybody knows how a pressure cooker is. Until you release the tension, it is built. And if it is not released in enough time, it is going to explode. And that is where a lot of marriages fall short. It's because we have not sat down and had, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And we have not sat down and had adult conversations about adult issues. Listen to me. Hear me by the Holy Ghost. If you do not sit down and have those courageous conversations, a person I met gave me that term and I have been using it. You have to have a courageous conversation, even if it looks like we do not have this money this time. We cannot. I remember when it was Christmas years back, and I sat down with my children and I said, this is what we're doing. The reason that my kids only got 3 gifts, because Jesus got 3, was because I didn't have any more money. That was all the money I had. I had been in a marriage situation where we would go out and spend thousands of dollars and then be in debt next Christmas while we trying to pay off this Christmas. That's not what I'm doing. That's not wisdom. That's not being a good steward. That's not taking care of the small so that God can make you ruler over the much. That is not any of that. That's careless, and it is called not doing what you should be doing. Morning, Jola. It's just not. So there's a lot of things that are in our head. We're looking at the Joneses. Envy is another issue. We're looking at what the neighbor have. You don't know what the neighbor has to do to pay for what they have. What I would say to us is mind your own business and what's going on in your house. I know that me and my kids want to be in a certain situation by a certain time. So in order for that to happen, we're going to do this, and this. Or when you're sitting down with hubby having that conversation, babe, you know, we said we wanted to do a family vacation in 2022. We didn't do it, but we want to do it in 23. We want to save X amount of dollars, and we need to put this plan into place. You got to know where you're going so that you can know how to start. Good morning. I'm so glad to see everyone. It's just, it's imperative, because if not, the way things are going, the way the economy is, interest rates are still going up. You still paying a hefty interest rate on those credit cards for something that you bought that you can't wear no more. Or you ordered it online and it wasn't the right size and you don't feel like sending it back. So now you got to try to put it on ThreadUp and you're not going to get all the money back that you put into it. It's that whole cycle. It's a vicious cycle of poor decisions. Poor decisions get us in a place where we're unable to take care of the things that we're supposed to take care of. And that's not how it should be. Discipline. The Bible tells us about the fruit of the spirits. Self-control is the fruit of the spirit. You have to have self-control over your swipe life. If you know you can't control that swipe, get rid of your cards. Don't take them out when you go. Move to a cash-based system. Once this cash is gone, that's it. There is no more. And that takes discipline. Just like me. We had a Christmas party the other night, and I made sweet treats using regular sugar and regular carbs that I never eat. And I told my son yesterday, because we brought some stuff home, I said, what is left, you have to toss in the trash. Did he toss it in the trash? He did not. Because I know me. If it's in this house, I'm going to consume it. It is that self-control that we have to put into place with and for ourselves. And somebody in your household has to take the initiative to be the leader. If your husband is not good at finances, then you have to be good at finances. If you're not good at finances, then you have to allow him to be good at finances. But here's something that you have to do. You have got to take dominion over that thing that is trying to keep you down. Debt is not your friend. It's not any of our friend. If we think that, if we think, oh, buying on time. Now listen, if you're good with your management of debt and you do pay off your stuff and you are earning your points, kudos to you. But Shakema knows already, I cannot have a credit card because when you telling me I got X amount of number of dollars and my mind start telling me I need to go to the grocery store, or my situation has brought in a depressing feeling and now I need to shop because that's going to make me feel better. I'm out here like everybody else, knowing that I'm struggling to just keep my head above water and put food on the table and make sure the bills are paid. If that's the life that you're living, then you cannot. We can't afford it moving forward. We can't afford it moving forward. We've got to make some big girl decisions in 23. The Lord spoke to me, and I'm gonna do a 23 vision cast on the 31st. But the Lord spoke to me, and He said, 23 for me is the year of maturity. Now people would say, well, Shakema, you're a grown adult woman. Yeah, I am a grown adult woman. Here's what I'm telling you. This is what I'm saying. I have to make mature decisions in 23. I cannot afford to make the same mistakes and decisions that I made in 22 if it wasn't prosperous for me. If it didn't garner me anything, if it didn't do anything that was helpful for my family, I cannot. It is not acceptable one more day past this moment when you are hearing the truth. The Bible says when we know better and we don't do better, then we're committing sin. If you don't know what you're doing is not right, God's not going to hold you accountable. But if you know, if you heard the word, if you heard the counsel and the teaching, and you've found it up and followed it up in the word, and you still do it, now we are responsible for those choices that we have made. And I'm going to get every single consequence that comes with spending outside of my budget. One of the biggest hindrances to paying off debt or staying out of debt or getting out of debt is a budget. We don't keep a budget. You don't know what you have coming in and you don't know what you have going out. Good morning, everybody. You don't know what's coming in and what's going out. If you do work overtime, you haven't allocated for those funds, or you've given them a job that they're unable to do, right? You need to give your money jobs that it can do. This $250, this job is for the light bill because the light bill is $249.99. That money is now taking care of that job. We get extra and we think it's just extra. It's not when you're in debt. That extra is a chunk to the debt. And people will say, because again, people will say, if it was me, I wouldn't be taking all my tax money and paying it to debt. It's not you. Here's what I did, right? Let me explain to you how I'm working this out. I spent the tax money earlier when I swiped my credit card and amassed them charges and them fees. So now, because I'm a responsible credit card owner, holder. I'm going to take this chunk of money and I'm going to pay my responsibilities. There's always going to be a consequence for bad behavior, bad decisions. And Shakema, is it a bad behavior? It is. It's learned from our parents and our family and friends. My grandparents didn't have money. They didn't have anything. We lived on a small farm and a trailer. Eventually, my grandmother paid her trailer off and became a homeowner. But we weren't taught. It was, how much money do you have, and is this going to get you out until the end of the month? And if you don't, you're going to borrow some from here and borrow some from there till you get paid on the first. And then when you get paid on the first, half of what you get paid has to go out because you borrowed. Get out of the cycle. Get out of the cycle. It's the hamster on the wheel. Decide that you don't want the wheel anymore. You don't want the wheel. You don't want to keep spinning and never going anywhere. You want to a lot of us deal with that same situation. In that instance is, again, when you need to have somebody partnered with your finances. And if you don't have anybody partnered with your finances, you need to find a support group. You need to find a church group. You need to find some friends who are on the same page as you as far as getting out of debt or whatever it is you're trying to do better, right? Wherever you're trying to get, first of all, write down what you're trying to do. Write down your goals. My goal for 22 was to be able to take my kids on a vacation. I've done that. I've already paid for it. We haven't gone yet, be at the end of the year, but I paid for it. And I saved up every single month. I saved a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. My main reason for getting out of debt is because I did not want to have to call anybody to say, can I borrow or will you let me hold? Because I already knew most of the people who I knew were in my situation. So I'm now putting more stress on them because they're trying to figure out how to help me. No, that's not what we want to do. I want to have peace of mind. I want to be stress-free. Now, I ain't stressing today. I ain't stressing today. No, I'm not. You negative and feel the vibes. I ain't stressing today. That meme, if you haven't ever seen it, you need to go and watch it. I'm not stressing today about anything financial. Here's what it is. If we don't have it, we don't have it. When your kids are small, we're back to Christmas now. When your kids are small, you know what you do? You get a little few somethings, things that you can get. And if you have good grandparents and godparents and all those people in your life, accept what they give and be a blessing. Let them be a blessing to you. If you know they're going to get something for your kids, and sometimes pride steps in our way because we don't want to go to people and say, hey, listen, this is where we are. But I would feel very comfortable going to my sister and saying, hey, I don't have much for the kids. I'm about to get them one or two little things. I know you're going to get something. Do you mind if we wrap it and bring it to my house and put it under the tree? You can even come over and watch them open it early if that's going to make you feel better. But it's going to help me maintain in front of my children. If it doesn't bother you too much, or you know grandparents are coming over, say, hey, I don't use an app. I actually just use a budget sheet. It's under every video in the description box. It should be the first link under there. It's called the MYMT Personal Budget Sheet. Hey, how are you? Good to see everybody. And it is I use it in Google Sheets. I don't have a app. I tried the apps. They don't work for me. What I found works for me, so I use that. Am I 100% great at always accounting for everything? I'm not, but I always do the budget column, and then I do my very best to go back and put in my bills just so I know what I'm dealing with. I looked in my budget, in my bank account today. I have $17. $17 and I think 63 cents. But you know what? All the bills are paid. Christmas money is in another account that I have of the Capital One 360 for my kids. I looked at the Christmas account. Jackson is done. I have the 3 kids, and there's still a little bit left for all the other people I have to get. I'm not trying to figure out where I'm going to come up with it from here, there, and everywhere. How do I get Christmas money? I get supplement twice a year, once in October and once in April. I take all of my October supplement, or the vast majority of it, and I put it into a Christmas account. I spend nothing else out of that until I take that Christmas money and put it to the side, because I know throughout my regular year I don't have enough money I don't have enough money to put into another account for it. It's just like your tax dollars. If your tax money's coming in and you are bound and determined to do birthdays for everybody, to the blowouts and the 360 cam that's going around and all the things, then take that tax money, put it into an account, divide it up by however many birthday parties you planning to give, and then when the birthday comes, you're not pulling money from your bills. You've already set it aside. Make the money work for you. If you can't see your way to chunk it to your debt, then what could it go for that's going to be beneficial for my family? If I got enough money, if I was getting thousands and thousands of dollars back, I'm telling you right now, I would be paying extra on the principal on this mortgage, because I'm trying not to have a mortgage by the time I'm 70. It's not what I'm trying to do. So there are a lot of factors. Take a class. I took Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University 12 years ago. I got on a good path 12 years ago, and about 3 years ago, the Lord allowed us to finally get out of debt. But that was because 2 years prior to that, so about 5 years ago, I got real serious about that debt. There was no more minimum payments around here. Minimum payment's not going to get you out, because your minimum payment doesn't even match the interest rate that you're paying. You've got to pay more than the minimums in order. That's perfect. Find somebody that you can just say, hey, can you put your eyes on this? Can I trust you with? And you got to find somebody that's not going to use your, you know what I'm saying, your shortcomings against you. I'm not good at everything, but I have people that love me even in the stuff I'm not good in, and they help me. They just listen, or they give me a thought, or they say, hey, if it was me, I would do this. I trust them. They know me. They love me. They've never once come against me and say, you just spend too much money. You just do all this. You know, those are not those people are not for you. But the people who can grab a hold of what you're trying to do and help and encourage you, those are your people. I remember trying to get my daughter, Shakema, to do budgets when I finally got my mind right, because she was working on some stuff as well. Mom, I don't want to do the budget. Mom, Mom. And it took me almost a year just talking to her every now and then. You know, okay, you don't want to do it, fine. And then one day, finally, she said, Mom, I have a Roth IRA that is through my work, and then I also have a separate Roth IRA through Vanguard for retirement. And if I'm missing your questions, I'll try to go back and see. I have also a Capital One 360. Anything that's for retirement already goes into a Vanguard account, or it goes into my work account. Because I can't, again, it's just not trusting yourself, not trusting myself to have the money available that I can get to it. Put it somewhere where you are assured not to be able to put your hands on it, because it's for the future. It's for what's coming down the line. Because if anybody thinks that things aren't coming down the line, then you all need to think again. Things are coming down the line. And what we have to do is we have to be very mindful, and we have to be very, I'm not saying be a penny pincher, because now that the kids and I don't carry debt, the Lord will allow me to purchase a thing here. He lets me get my nails done, right? I wasn't doing that before. But I'm not going out here just frivolously slinging my money around. There's money in an account, my retirement accounts, waiting for me. I retire in 4.5 years. I've got to have something. I've got to have something that is going to garner me a good result after I'm not working anymore. I can work more than 30 years, but I would prefer to be doing something. Teresa, you just go online, go to Vanguard.com, or find their number and call. I called, and then I had to fill out the thing online. And all I did was, from then, was I have an account, and you can add the money into that account. That's what I did. So either call or look for the online application. That's what I did. And then staying out of debt, again, is just keeping your priorities in order. What is it that I want to happen? Do I want this pressure again? I don't want the pressure. I don't like the pressure. It is absolutely. You have to. Because if you don't, I don't want anybody or anything having rule over me except Jesus. So when I give my money too much leeway in my life, I'm going to have consequences in that. And I'm just not, I don't want those consequences. I'm just too stubborn. I'm just too stubborn. I got out of where I was in, and it was to a point when I was married where we would have, our bank would get frozen because we had went into overdraft so bad. And then we know that a paycheck would go in, but we had no access to the paycheck because they would freeze our account because we had spent so much over. I'm not going back to those days. Those days do not make me happy. There were no good memories there. And I'm not doing that anymore. Am I better than anybody else? I am not, but my thoughts might be different than somebody else's. I am not going to spend down to my last penny. I have $17 in my checking account, but I have money in my 3 6 month, in my emergency fund. There's money there. I'm not worried about not having anything, right? Because you put aside, and when you don't have debt, then all the money you are paying to debt can then go either to savings or to your kids' college or to extra on your home or to save for my new thing in 23 is saving for a new vehicle. And I'm not going to be saving for no get me by vehicle. I want a nice crossover SUV, something for me and my kids that is low in miles, that I don't have to worry about in a few years. Am I going to have to be paying for repairs after repairs after repairs? It might not be a 2023. It might be a 2015-16, but it's still going to be low in miles, because even though I'm not driving a lot now, I want to take some trips. I want to take some road trips. I want the kids to be comfortable. I want the dogs to be comfortable. Something good on gas. And now that I don't have to pay the debt, I can say, okay, Shakema, you want to save this money by X, Y, and Z time, then you need to put this much by every single month. That's a priority for me. I have a 2013 out there. Very excellent miles. The Lord has blessed us. We are so good because now I don't have to drive as much, right? So it's very good. But I might want to say to Alana, hey, you take this car. Mom has saved up enough to buy her a car. I might want to do that. I've never been in that position to buy my kids a car or give them my old car so I could buy me a new. Never. What would it be like? What would the testimony be like for me to say, this is what I was able to say with the help of the Lord? And now I can pass on. Because not only am I passing on a car to my children, but I'm passing on good habits. I'm passing on financial stewardship and leadership so that they can do it. Shamika caught on to budgeting. Last year, I started talking to Alana. I was like, okay, we 17. We got to get this budget together. We got to get this budget together. Mom, I just can't understand it. Mom, I just don't understand. And math is not her thing. Math ain't her jam. She struggles. And one day, after me just saying, okay, let me know. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. She's like, Mom, oh, I got my paycheck. I got to do my budget. I gave her the sheet. We had already worked on it a couple times unsuccessfully. That girl don't play with her budget. Alana does not play with her money. Alana is like, okay, Mom, let me get my budget sheet out. She's like, I got to do my budget. She get her paycheck stub a week in advance. She already budgeted a week in advance. She is looking for what she got to do coming down the line. She's not playing with it. And she's just 18 years old. I don't want my child. I got married at 19. Didn't have a dime to my name. I was working, but that's all I had was my job, waiting on my next paycheck. When she hopefully meets the person and gets married, she'll have something to bring to the table. Since everybody's concerned with what you bringing to the table, man, I can make the table. Sit down, okay? But at least she'll have something to bring, and not just money, but a mind that is focused on finance and how to not be behind and how to not get in debt. Alana's not spending it. She not. Shamika either. Now, Jackson, he doesn't do his budget right now. He'll spend whatever. He's like, oh, well, whatever. It is what it is. He don't care. But when he gets to the age and he already sees what's happening in the home, then he's going to pick up those strategies. We have to think in order to stay out of debt. We've changed our mind. You've changed your lineage. We've changed our legacy. And because you don't carry it, your children don't have to. Now, that's not to say they won't make poor financial decisions. My children haven't always made the best financial decisions. But when those decisions start giving them out some terrible consequences, they was like, you know what? I think we better call Mom and ask about this budget sheet. And they've seen me struggle. But they've also seen me come out. My daughter said to me not long ago, she said, Mom, she said, I'm so proud of you. She's my child and she proud of me. But she's like, Mom, you doing it. And I am doing it. One decision at a time, one paycheck at a time, one side hustle at a time. I used to get big backlash about doing YouTube as a side hustle. If I go and get a second job outside of my home, it takes me away from my children more than I'm already away from my children. So I asked the Lord, how can I make money but stay home with my kids? And he gave me this. And so what do? I do this so that I'm able to be in the home. I'm not full-time in the home, but I'm full-time in the summer. I'm full-time for these next 17 days that I'm off from work. And I'm teaching. I hope they're learning all the things. And I hope what I'm sharing is helpful to you. Again, my journey is my journey. Your journey is your journey. I'm not pointing fingers. I've been in the same places and spaces before, trying to dig my way out of something that I got myself into. And it's not easy, but it can be done. You can do it even in this Christmas season. Jackson, will you bring me that thing off the table? I'll show you this one thing before I head out, because it is 10:07 and I get to eat. Yes, soon. My money thing. My kids work. Alana must put 40% of her paycheck in savings, and then she has to tithe, and then she can do with the rest what she will. So this is my budget binder. Y'all have seen this before. I've started 2 challenges even before Christmas. I've started the $20 savings challenge, which is this one. There's 60 $20 circles on here. I've got 3 of them filled out. And what I decided to do was every time I get a child support payment, I pull $20 out. Now, before anybody come for me in the comments about using child support as savings, I pay for Jackson's Taekwondo. It's $169 every single month. I pay for that up front. So technically, I could take $170 out of that child support allotment for my money, because that's Dad's bill. That's your bill. I just pay it first because they pull it out up front, right? So I've just decided to take out $20, put it in a folder, and I've already saved $60. Well, Shakema, that says $1,200 and you only saved $60. Yeah, but if I had spent it, I wouldn't have saved that $60. And I don't touch it. I'm not going in here trying to figure it out. And a lot of times I don't even remember that it's here. If you can't do the $20, then you do the $10, right? I'm going to save $10 every time I get an extra $10. I'm just going to put it in this envelope and do the $10 challenge. When you save 60 $10 bills, you have $600. Where can that money go? You have to give that money a job. Well, I owe, $600 on a loan. Save it up, pay it off, be done. Don't have the $10? Well, do the $5 challenge. So far, I've saved $10 of my $300 savings challenge. I had 5 $1 bills, and I said, Alana, do you have a $5 bill? She's like, Mom, I got a 5. I gave her the ones. I took the 5, and that was just change that I've had, laying around from, some grocery money or maybe some gas money or something. I don't know, whatever it was, and I put it in my envelope. So you don't have to, there's not a reason why you can't save something. You don't have this much, fine. You have change, get you a big bucket. My aunt has these huge, it's like the water jugs that I have. She's got huge water jugs just full of change. Once you get it full, take it to the bank, cash it out, whatever you have, throw it towards the debt. There's strategies, there's ways to make money. There are ways to make money. If you cook something, sell a few plates. If you bake something, put stuff out. Do whatever you can that's legal for you to do. But there are multiple ways of doing stuff. If you're good with computer, hire your services out to be a virtual assistant. All kind of computer people like me are looking for people to work for us because I don't have no more time. Hone your skills, learn your skills, and figure out what works best for you and your family in your debt situation. Thank you guys so much for impromptu joining me. I had not planned this out. I do have several more questions, so I probably will go live throughout the day. Yes, yes. I mean, listen, you have to have those people in your life. And if they are doing that now, you can almost be assured that moving down in their lives that they are going to be the same. And here's what I'll say, this is not easy to say, but a lot of our kids that have better habits than us form those habits because they saw our habits. They formed those habits because they saw us doing X, Y, and Z thing. I don't drink because I saw Beauty drink. I didn't see Beauty just drink. I saw Beauty drunk. Drop down, sloppy drunk. And I had determined in my life I will not drink because I saw my mama like that. And so, you know, we take the good with the bad and we try to change our situation. And when my kid can say to me, I'm proud of you, Mom, I'm going to take that as a win because she wasn't always proud of me. So anywho, there it is. D, I hope that answered your question. I do have several more questions that I'll get to. And if you have a question, head over to the community tab where I posted that and leave your question there. And I'll try to get to it as quickly as I can. I've also answered several questions over on my Facebook that I did not answer over here because they were not asked here. They were asked there. So if there's something that you want to see, head over to Facebook. There's some more. The question is, I hope you're enjoying this series. I think it's fun. So anywho, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you next time. Bye now.